How's it going, guys? I have a Yu-Yu match for you today against a guy by the name of B0nerfart. I'm not making this up. His name's B0nerfart. That's what it was in the JTV stream anyway. But as you can see, got a Yu-Gi match, as I previously mentioned. Not really anything too unusual. I've seen these pokes. You know, they're fairly common things in Yu-Gi. I really shouldn't feel the need to explain them. They're just combined differently. That Azelf is a full-out offensive one, if anyone remembers my 4th gen shenanigans with it. And I figured I'm going to go ahead and lead off with it, because people might think that it's going to want to set up Stealth Rocks or whatever. Turns out I do lead with it, and he does decide to lead with his Escavalier. I don't know if he tried to go for a Pursuit or whatever. Spoilers, I don't know what he tried to go for, because I just end up fucking torching him on the first turn. No hopes of living that. I don't like Fire Blast, because on a fragile poke like that, I'd rather get secure damage and actually end up hitting than end up missing. So maybe on something a little slower, I'll put Fire Blast, blah, blah, blah. A little more durable than Azelf, because Azelf is kind of fragile. So he could have pursued it here if he did have it, but either he didn't have it or he chose not to go for it, and I guess he thought that the Mega Horn was going to be the safe thing to do. No sense in over-predicting this early in the game, especially if I stayed. I'm pretty sure I would have been able to just take a stock Pursuit and take him out with the Psychic. So he decides to go for the safe play and go for the Mega Horn. Unfortunately, my Hitmontop is physically defensive and able to take it very well. Now, something that's kind of unusual about this match that I didn't really recognize until after, like when I'm watching it, is I have 2 physically defensive walls with Intimidate, and believe it or not, it kind of works out. I don't have a special. I think I have 3 physical walls, but only 2 of them have Intimidate. That's still 1 more than I deem necessary, but hey, I'm not really complaining. So I double switch out of there because I'm pretty sure Heracross versus Hitmontop not going to be a matchup he wants to work with. So while he switches out to Arcanine, I switch out to Azelf. I didn't know what he was going to go into, but as long as Heracross is gone, I'm pretty sure Azelf can leave a chunk in something. It turns out that it doesn't take out Arcanine. I wasn't really too surprised by that. I just really wanted to get a good chunk off on it, depending on what he was going to do. But Arcanine's got some very respectable stats, and going off of his, you know, how it lived the Psychic, mine is actually going to be able to take many, many hits this game. So I'm going to go ahead and end up switching out, though, because this is one hit I do not want to deal with, because it's a Nidoqueen. There's the potential of the special Sheer Force build, which is one that I can't really handle because I am physically defensive. But it turns out that he goes for Focus Blast. Nidoqueen does not get Focus Blast. That's the Zoroark, so it's good to know. But now that I know it's the Zoroark, I'm actually going to go out into my special defensive Zapdos to go ahead and take the predicted Focus Blast. But he doubles, and he goes into his Snorlax. Not really a favorable matchup for me, but I do think I have Toxic on this. I'm going to sub and see what he wants to do, and try to figure out, you know, whether or not it's actually going to end up breaking this up. Turns out it does. That really doesn't tell me much, because, you know, that's a stab, body slam, and all that shit. But, oh god, excuse me. That one was just, that burp was kind of stuck. So I decided to go into my Hitmontop because I do have Intimidate, and I can threaten him out with a close combat. But the thing is with how much his Body Slam does, I'm pretty sure he gets secure with the fact that if I go for a close combat here, thanks to the defense drop, he might be able to take me out in the next turn, which is why I actually decided to go into my Arcanine. If there's one condition that this Arcanine should have, it would probably end up being Paralysis, not Sleep or Freeze or Toxic. I don't mind this thing being slow because it's a bulky spread. So it turns out after 2 Intimidates, that Body Slam really isn't doing shit. He decides to go out into Nidoqueen, which I think is the Nidoqueen. I don't know because of Zoroark. But the cool thing is by Will-O-Wisping, I'm actually able to tag one of the 2 and then determine right now which one it is. Because it has a potential to be the Nidoqueen, because it is looking like that looks like a fucking Nidoqueen on the screen. I don't know about you, but decided to go into my Zapdos because it is specially defensive, and turns out he goes for the Earth Power. I know Zoroark does not get Earth Power, therefore I have tagged the real Nidoqueen with the Burn. But I'm not seeing lefties, and that should have been a red flag right there. I did not expect him to outspeed me, but because I did not see lefties, it turns out that he actually outspeeds me, goes for an Ice Beam, and he robs me of the few amount of HP necessary in order to get off a sub. I probably would have gone for the Heat Wave there just to get some more damage. But although I did lose out on my Zapdos as he tries to take me out of the T-Ball, I think he predicted Suicune to come in. So it's good that he did end up switching, or he did end up switching moves. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. So he predicted Suicune. It was a good play on that part because it still ended up taking me out. Now here, I'm still fucking trying to use this Weavile. And you know what? It doesn't put in as much work as it should this game. Not in the right way. But I'm still able to sub in this Nidoqueen's face. I thought he was going to switch. You know, probably being scared of the ice move or whatever. You know, this thing is still at a decent amount of HP. It doesn't mind being burned. It's not going to get any more recovery. and it's a fucking powerhouse. So I don't know why he just kind of threw it away like this. Maybe he knew I was this one and, you know, tried to get away with the sub. I don't know. A lot of things happened on that stream. Might have used it beforehand, but whatever case, he stays in, ends up dying to a Night Slash after some burn damage, and there's that. So Heracross comes in, runs pursuit, fine, whatever. I don't think he's going to. Not that it would really end up doing that much anyway, but I go into my next answer for it, which does happen to be my Hitmontop, and he goes for the close combat this time. Turns out it does a lot, and I wasn't really paying too much attention to numbers, but based on it, I was like, okay, you know what, he did around 100. Maybe if he rolls lower on this one, I might be able to live this one, and then end up going for a close combat while he's -2 defense. Unfortunately, it doesn't end up working that way, and here we got some interesting math, because he ended up at -1 when the Intimidate happened. Then he takes me out, so he's at neutral, and then I go into my Arcanine, so now he is at -1 again. But because this is physically defensive, I am definitely going to be able to take this close combat really, really well. I take it with only like 100 damage off, but I do have a little bit of damage on me, so rather than kill him off right away, I'm not going to say setup fodder, I guess kind of like get back on all 4 of my feet fodder with Arcanine, because now that he is -1 and burned, he's not going to be doing shit with close combat, and he's really insistent on keeping this in for whatever reason. But as you can see, that only does like 50, 60 damage. It is nothing to this Arcanine, so I'm going to go ahead and take the extra turn to go for the Morning Sun after I burned him. Even if I did miss the Will-O-Wisp, there's a 75% chance I'll be able to hit the one on the next turn again, and as you can tell, the one before the close combat he ended up hitting with before the burn didn't actually end up hurting that much either, so I'm not too scared about it. But as you can see, there's the net damage that he ended up gaining from this whole exchange, and throughout this whole thing, he's been getting Spadef drops out the ass. Like, I'm pretty sure I'd be able to take him out with one flamethrower, just stock, but with the special defense drops, it is the nail in the coffin. So after I get out of that, I've only lost like 41 HP. It's not bad at all. So in comes his Snorlax, or at least that's what I thought it was, but I forgot that since I took out the real Nidoqueen, his disguise is gone. And it turns out that this is actually Zoroark. So I'm going to, Arcanine is going to play tag with this one again, put a flag on the Zoroark this time as opposed to the real Pokemon. I would have liked to have burned the Snorlax, but I suppose this is going to work too because it lets me know which is which. And oh my lord, what did I eat? Oh my god, I am terribly, terribly sorry. I just do not want to stop that. But holy crap, you know when you feel a burp coming and there's nothing you can do about it? Had that happen twice. Oh man, okay. So I decided to switch out because I don't want to take another one, and I figure I can set up in his face with Suicune. I am physically defensive with this thing too, so if he wants to bring in the real Snorlax and get scalded somewhere along the way, that's fine too. I think he ended up flinching me a turn or two ago, and I tried to go for the Morning Sun, so I figure I'll try to preserve this and maybe burn Snorlax and then just kind of go from there. But I do have Suicune and Arcanine left, so we should be good to go. Now this turn actually really fucking confused the hell out of me, because Dark Pulse with Stab is, I'm pretty sure, the same as Focus Blast, definitely in that neighborhood, if not the same. I think it's 80 with Stab is 120, Focus Blast is 120. The only difference is that Focus Blast does have a chance to drop Spadef, but it also has a way bigger chance to miss. So Dark Pulse has a pretty hefty chance to flinch too, so he could have just kept going for that. Hell, he got it right there. So thing is after a X amount of boosts, I think I got one Calm Mind while I was talking about this whole thing, but I don't think he gets another flinch with Dark Pulse. It's only 20%, but that 20% can come in handy in a pinch, as I had happen a couple of Wi-Fi battles ago. But after the boost, and then Zoroark isn't exactly a defensive monster, I'm able to just take him out with the Scald, so there's that. And I guess I'm looking alright. In comes his last poke, which actually happens to be his Snorlax. I don't know if this thing is Choice Banded or not, because I think he ends up getting a crit on this Body Slam here. I don't get a burn, and this really doesn't end up doing much at all. But I don't think I see lefties. Shit, that was a crit. Do I see lefties? That's the first time I've hit it. No, I do not see lefties, so there's that. But decided to bring in my Arcanine. I believe I go for the Will-O-Wisp, and I speed this up because this is basically just a bunch of shenanigans. As you can see, I take that Body Slam very well. Gonna be able to heal it off, and it's shenanigans. It is Arcanine shenanigans at this point. I'm gonna be able to Morning Sun up again, and you know, barring any full paralysis, I think I'm actually gonna be good to go. I don't remember if my Weavile died, but even if it even if my Arcanine did end up dying to a crit or getting pair hacks or whatever, I still have that in the back of my pocket. And although he does have thick fat, it just takes a couple of turns to take it out with Arcanine manually. So I think I still had Weavile. So there's that. Anyways, that was the game. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're welcome. Leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, and do your thing. Thought it was a pretty nice match for today. So there's that, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.